All right, so today we're going to cover the 3 dating systems that every man needs, especially these days. Because these days the dating market has changed tremendously. Women have more options than ever. Dating apps are flooded with options. And for most men, it's hard for them to stand out. And without a proper system, it's very unlikely that you're going to get dates consistently. So I read a book the other day by James Clear, and it's called Atomic Habits. I highly recommend you read that book if you haven't read it yet. And basically, he says, you don't rise to the level of your goals, but you fall to the level of your systems. And right now, whatever your goal is, whether it's to have an amazing girlfriend or date 1, 2, 3 girls a week consistently, you need to have a system that gets you there. A goal without a system is just a wish, basically. And so very early on in my business career, when I started my first business when I was 18, I started an e-commerce business. I started understanding the importance of having a system. Same with fitness. I mean, if you go to the gym and you don't have a training program or some kind of exercises you've prepared in advance, you're just going to go there and rely on you're just going to push some dumbbells randomly or try a few machines randomly, but you're not going to have a precise structure that gets you to your goal over time. And it's kind of the same thing with business too. If you don't have a predictable way of getting clients, then you're just going to hope new clients come in, but you're not going to have predictable revenue. And I understood this very early on in business. And I think for every area of your life, you should have a system. So dating is no different. Dating, you should have some sort of system. Now, what are some of these systems that you can put in place? Well, there's 3 big type of systems that you need to have in your dating life. Okay, if you want to have a dating life that's functional, a dating life that allows you to truly enjoy female companionship while building a business, a career, building other areas of your life, because women shouldn't be the priority, and you know that. I always say in my videos, you should focus on your purpose, your career, your business more than women. But women are a big part of life, and if you don't have this area handled, then it's going to consume a lot of your mental bandwidth. Like instead of focusing on work, you're going to start thinking, oh, why am I not getting dates? Oh, why am I not, attracting the woman I want? And you're going to start getting in your head about it. Whereas if you have this area of your life handled, then you're not going to spend as much time thinking about where your next date is going to come from. Because I know a lot of guys, they just waste so much time thinking about, oh, where is my next date going to come from? What am I going to do? Why am I not attracting women? No. And if you don't get dates for a while, then you start getting super horny and you can't work anymore. So you need to have a way to get predictability. Now, basically, there's 3 types of systems that are super important to have. Okay, there's attraction systems. Those are systems designed to get women in the door and allow you to get some leads. Then there's conversion systems. These are systems that we cover that allow you to convert those leads into actual dates. And then there's retention systems, and those are systems that are going to allow you to retain women, whether for casual relationships, so you want to have a rotation of women that you're seeing every single week, every single month, or a relationship system where you have one partner, one woman, one girlfriend, one wife, and you put systems in place to sustain that relationship long term and make that relationship grow and evolve. And there's different ways to do this. Now, we're going to start covering the attraction systems first, and then we're going to go into conversion and retention. Now, obviously, I don't want to make this video too long, so I'm just going to give you a high-level overview. But in other videos, I'll be covering also the nitty-gritty details of these systems. But basically, when it comes to attraction systems, universally, you have 3 ways to attract women. Either it's going to be cold approach, and that's going to be done during daytime or nighttime, which means you're going to be in the streets. For example, you're walking, you're just grabbing a coffee, whatever, and then you see a girl and you approach her. So that's daytime systems. For example, you see a woman at the gym, at the grocery store, at a coffee shop, in the street, and you strike a conversation. Now, there's different ways to do this, right? A lot of guys, they like to go a bit indirect when they approach, which I don't recommend. A lot of guys, they find some type of excuse to approach the girl. For example, they ask, oh yeah, do you know what the time is? Or, oh, you know, like they ask for a random question, like, hey, do you know like some coffee shops around here, etc. Now, I don't recommend doing this. When you cold approach women, I recommend, especially when it's in the street like that or at the grocery store, don't beat around the bush. Be straight to the point. Just go approach, just say, hey, I just saw you. I thought you looked interesting. I want to come say hi. What's your name? And you just go direct. And from there, you're going to have a little conversation. It doesn't need to be too long. A lot of guys, they think that the conversation should last like 5, 10, 15 minutes. It doesn't need to be that way. It could literally be like just 1, 2 minutes. You get to know her, where she comes from, what she does, etc. Just exchange a few information, and then you use just Instagram or WhatsApp as a way to keep in touch if she's interested in keeping in touch or grabbing a drink with you. But that's daytime systems. That's just cold approach, and you can do this anywhere, literally anywhere. You can do this in the street, at the grocery store, at the gym, in a mall. It doesn't matter where, but you need to get some leads in. I recommend, if you're a beginner, you should approach minimum, if you want to get good at this, minimum 10 girls a week. If you approach 10 girls a week consistently, well, that's on average, that's going to be like 520 girls a year almost that you're approaching, which is pretty good. And if you approach 20 a week, that's more than 1,000 a year that you're going to be approaching. Now, what do you think? After 500 girls that you've approached or 1,000 girls that you've approached, don't you think you're going to get a lot better at this than the average guy? Probably yes. And the thing is, most guys aren't doing it. They're not doing it. Nowadays, most guys rely on dating apps. They rely on just meeting women online and hoping that they get a match. But cold approach is actually the best way to meet high quality women if you have the ability to do so. Because most women online, it's hard to vet them online, and there's a lot more competition, and most girls on dating apps aren't that high quality. Like the women that are truly high quality long term, you're going to meet them in some sort of event, activity, or some sort of places that are low exposure. Because dating apps and Instagram, etc., those places are high exposure. You're going to find girls that are exposed to a lot of options already. And these girls are usually lower quality, most of them, than if you met a girl that isn't on dating apps or isn't on Instagram. Or maybe she is on Instagram, but she's very private. So it's going to be hard to find her profile and DM her, etc. I would say, if you're a beginner, this is one of the best ways, cold approach. And you can do this also nighttime. I talked about daytime. You can do this nighttime in bars, nightclubs, venues, parties, whatever, events. And there's a system that I teach called the ACCQC system that I teach inside my program. I won't go over it right now, but this is one of the best ways to approach women consistently. And if you actually apply that system and you approach a high enough volume of women every single week or every single month, you're going to have leads. There's no way you're going to approach 30 girls and not get a single contact unless you truly, truly, truly suck, or unless there's something wrong about you. Like there's like something really off. But if you actually have enough volume and you apply the right system, you will get dates through that. Now, in terms of online, a lot of guys, they use Facebook dating, Hinge, Tinder, Bumble. I think those are great as well as attraction systems, but I would say the king of dating apps is Instagram. Because with Instagram, truly, if you craft your lifestyle a certain way and you portray your value through your pictures, through the way you curate your profile, it's going to be a lot easier to attract women if you do it the right way. Because there's a way actually to find women in your city through Instagram and then DM them. Because Instagram is a search engine. You can actually find places in your city, find locations where women are tagged in, and then you can actually just DM them. And you can know if they're in your city right now. If a woman has posted a picture 5 minutes ago in your city, then you know she's there, probably. So you can then DM her, send her a message, and then you'll get some replies. If you send 10 DMs, 20 DMs, you get some replies. Now, there's a lot of Instagrams that you can get from dating apps as well. There's other ways as well to find profiles. Finding profiles is honestly not the hard thing. The hard thing is actually having the right pictures, curating your profile a certain way, and then knowing how to text the girls properly. And this is what we teach as well inside my Instagram system, inside the Dating Accelerator. But yeah, this is the second way to get dates, and this is part of the attraction systems. Okay, so to sum up so far, you have inside the attraction systems, you have cold approach and online. Now, the third attraction system would be social circle. Now, social circle, basically, it's not about being friends with everyone. It's about being friends with specific people that can allow you to connect with women, with high quality guys, etc. For example, I met a lot of guys at the gym I go to, which is pretty premium. And through just meeting them over and over, I then, went to some events with them, or they invited me to some parties or whatever. And through that, I made a lot of people. I already have a group of friends here of guys that I initially met. But through that circle, I meet other people too, because your friends have other friends that you can meet. And if you just meet one person, that person can connect you to 3 other people, and those 3 other people can connect you to 10 other people. And it's a snowball effect. And with social circle, it takes a bit longer to build, because you need to obviously have that mere exposure effect to people. You're not going to be friends with someone the first time you meet them. Most of the time, you're going to have to kind of, through exposure, through familiarity, you become more acquainted. You build more rapport with people over time. But that strategy works. And with social circle, you can either create your own events or be invited to some other events. And through that, you can meet so many people. But it takes longer to build. That's why the social circle system is more of a long-term play. To get dates initially, the short-term play is just cold approach and online. And those as well are going to help you to nurture your whole funnel and get into building a social circle in your city. Because some of the women that you're going to meet might not be the right fit to date, but might be the right fit just to be friends with, or to be acquainted with, and you can invite them to some of your parties, some of your events, etc. Okay, so now I want to talk more about conversion systems, because I talked about attraction and I haven't talked about conversion much. Now, you need to understand that attraction gets you the leads in the door, gets you the contacts, but then conversion allows you to turn those leads into dates. Now, with every woman you meet, there's a repeatable process to converting that woman from a stranger into a relationship. There's always, in every conversation, there's similar patterns. Now, every conversation is going to be unique. Every girl is going to be somewhat unique. Like, every girl is going to have maybe different interests, different values, a different upbringing, different ethnicity. But at the end of the day, there's very, very similar patterns that you can observe in every conversation you have. And once you understand how those patterns work, once you understand how a conversation should be conducted, then you can repeat the same framework over and over. For example, when I approach women now, I have some things that I say over and over because they've worked in the past. And I know that if I say that thing, it's probably going to work with her too, because I have enough of a sample size to know, when you put yourself out there with 100 girls, 200 girls, 1,000 girls, there's a lot of things that are going to work similarly with every girl. And when you get good at this, you can just be a master at knowing what to say in advance. You don't need to think about what you're going to say next, or, oh, is this good enough, or whatever. You have a pattern. It's almost like a chess player. When you play chess, when your opponent makes a move, if you're a good chess player, you can anticipate the move that you can make once he makes that move. Well, it's a bit the same in a conversation with a woman. If she says a certain thing, then because of your experience and because you have a certain framework, you can kind of understand what you should say afterwards every single time, because you know how to kind of navigate every conversation. So when you have a conversion system in place, your conversations aren't going to be random anymore. It's going to be predictable. And even if a girl says something a bit outlandish or outside the box, you're going to know how to bounce back each time, because you have some go-to things to say anyway. You have some go-to subjects, some go-to lines, some go-to just, comebacks that you can just pull out, And this is not about learning pickup lines and reciting them. This is about understanding female psychology and communication at such a high level that you know what would resonate and what wouldn't resonate. You know what would turn the woman off and what would just turn her on. And because of that, you'll know kind of how to navigate the conversation based on your understanding of those things. And at the end of the day, dating is just communication and psychology and a bit of economics. Economics meaning like managing your time, managing your resources. But if you master communication and you master female psychology or psychology in general, you're going to have a pretty good understanding of how to conduct every conversation. And then if you couple that, if you just combine that with some understanding of attraction and game and dating skills, then your success with women is just going to be predictable. Now, even online, you can have conversion systems. Like, for example, my texting system is super streamlined. Like, when I text women, I have very similar things I say each time. Now, of course, I'm going to calibrate what I say based on what I see on her profile or based on what I assess, depending on her personality, etc. But some of the questions I ask are very, very similar. And you need to have that. You need to have kind of a triage system when you text, because a lot of women are dead ends. Like when you text women online, especially on dating apps, 90% of girls are going to be dead ends. There's going to be maybe 5 or 10% that the girls you matched with, you're actually going to meet. So that's why you need to have a triage system, and you need to have a way to just not waste time. And having a conversion system is going to save you so much time online as well. When you're going to have a lot of leads, you need to be very, very discerning of what kind of girl you want to allow into your life. And there's kind of a filtering system that we go through inside my program to kind of know which kind of women are the most interesting to actually meet up in real life. Because a lot of women, you can tell already, even if you meet them in real life, you can tell already their life is a bit fucked up. They're not that interesting. They're not that, depending on your goal, right? Like if your goal is to get laid, there's going to be some girls, that, they're going to be a lot harder. They're going to be a lot more, they need a lot more time and attention, and they have different goals, etc. And so depending on your goal, you're going to have to filter which kind of woman you're going to prioritize. And there's a way to do that. There's questions you need to ask. There's a screening mechanism you need to go through. You need to qualify them a little bit. So qualifying women is going to be very important at that stage. And then the last thing is going to be retention. And this is not something I'm going to go through now, but you need a system to be able to follow up with the women you're dating and keep them in the loop and nurture them and keep that relationship alive. Because obviously, if you just date them once and then you stop texting them and you stop nurturing and you don't plan things, then yeah, it's just going to fizzle out. Yeah, so we talked about attraction systems, we talked about conversion systems. Now, the last thing is retention. Now, as I said, attraction gets you the leads. Conversion gets you to convert those leads into dates. And then retention gets you to make women stay with you long term, basically. Makes you nurture relationships and sustain relationships long term and retain women. And as I said, whether you're watching this and you want to get 1 to 3 dates a week, or you want to get an amazing girlfriend, you're still going to need to nurture women. So you're still going to need some kind of retention system in place, unless you just want to have just one night stands and that's it. But most of you guys, you want to have some kind of recurring women into your life. You don't want to have just one girl each time and then that's it. You want to have like maybe a rotation of women. But basically, when you have a retention system, it allows you also to prioritize your mission first, to set clear boundaries, and to not allow women to take too much of your time while maintaining and nurturing the relationship. And there's things you can put in place to do that. Now, I'm not going to go too much in depth into that. Maybe I'll explain that in another video. But for now, start taking action on those systems. If you're not approaching women right now, you need to start approaching women. If you're not having a strong online presence that gets you dates, you need to set that in place. And you need to also nurture women the right way. And if you're serious about getting dates consistently and getting there within the next few weeks, then check out the links in the description. There's plenty of resources. We have my free school community with plenty of resources in the classroom. You also have the ability to book a call with my team. So every single week we have a couple slots that we open for people who actually want to work with us. And so if you're serious about getting 1 to 3 dates a week, or you want to have a relationship within the next 8 to 12 weeks, then we can get you inside our accelerator program and get you the results you want a lot faster. Because doing this by yourself is actually going to take a lot of time. It's very hard to just get yourself to do this without any accountability, without any wingman, without any systems. It took me years to even just understand the foundations. And so if you don't have some kind of mentor or some kind of accountability or group of guys that are doing this as well, and you're just alone trying to figure this out, the journey is going to be so much longer. It's just going to be a headache. And if you're a business owner watching this, or you have like a busy career, it's very unlikely that you're going to muster up the discipline and just the amount of work you're going to need to put into this to figure all this out by yourself. It's just going to be such a headache. So that's what I did myself. Like early on, I invested in many programs, many courses, many mentors, because it's hard to just figure this shit out. So in any case, if you're serious, check out the links in the description. There's a link to book a call with my team. There's the free school community that you can check out as well. And if you have any questions or comments, just comment below your thoughts or comments, questions you have, and I'll reply to you. So anyways, subscribe. See you soon. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I'll see you on the next.